Who dat? Who dat? Who dat? Hello, folks. Welcome to episode 25 of season 2 of the GOAT series. I'm your host, Jeremy Hadler, and today I'm going to be talking about the greatest Saints player in franchise history. I'm going to go over the rules here, like I always do here on the GOAT series, which is choosing 5 candidates of who I think is the greatest Saints player in franchise history up to this point in all time. Criteria I always look for with the team is their accomplishments with the team, their tenure with the team, how they played with the team, their stats with the franchise, and how are they on and off the field. And I also do honorable mention, but when we have guests on, they're allowed to have an honorable mention. But in this episode, we don't have an honorable. I also do honorable mention on who just missed out on the list, ladies and gentlemen. So I will have an honorable mention for the Saints. And at the end of the video, of course, I choose my ultimate Saints GOAT. And now to start with honorable mention, this guy played right guard for the Saints. He played 11 seasons with them, and that is Jahri Evans. Jahri Evans, one-time Super Bowl champion, 4 first-team All-Pro, one-time second-team All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler, all-rookie team, made the Saints Hall of Fame. What stands out to me about Jahri Evans is his technique with the combination of his power, agility, and his great football IQ. His great football IQ helped him look at the field and see where those defenders come right at him. Where's like the run block coming in just to block off those defenders, or the pass protection of like who's coming around to go to sack Drew Brees, because that was his quarterback he had to protect was Drew Brees, which made him one of the best guards in his era. What stands out to me again about Jahri Evans is his great pass protection, his amazing run block to create so much lane holes, like when he had Mark Ingram try to create an open hole lane for him, or he had Reggie Bush. He had exceptional technique of what he did, and he was very consistent and durable. He would play through the hurt and injury, never really was hurt, and always play through it. Outstanding guy, has to definitely be on this list for honorable mention, of course, but didn't make it to the rest of the list because the rest of these Saints players are coming on here. But Jahri Evans, shout out to him. Next guy on my list, this guy played 15 seasons with the Saints, nicknamed Mr. Statistic, and that is Drew Brees. Never won an MVP, which is rare to see. Aaron Rodgers took it away from him in 2011. Some people argue that Drew Brees should have won it. Some people say he shouldn't. But that's up to you guys to decide. For you Saints fans, I know you guys want him. For me, well, I got Rodgers, so hey, I'll take it. But back to Drew Brees. Drew Brees is a one-time Super Bowl champion, one-time Super Bowl MVP, two-time Offensive Player of the Year, one-time Walter Payton Man of the Year, one-time Comeback Player, one-time First-Team All-Pro, 4 second-team All-Pro, 13-time Pro Bowler, 7-time passing yards leader, 4-time passing TDs leader, 2-time passing rating leader, 6-time completion percentage leader, and made the Saints Hall of Fame. No doubt about it, he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer in the Hall of Fame. His stats, folks, he had 68.8 completion percentage, over 68,000 passing yards, 101.5 passer rating, of 491 passing TDs, and 190 interceptions. Why is he nicknamed Mr. Statistic? Well, he led almost every category in NFL all time in almost all these categories, except the interceptions, of course. But that stands out to me of why he's called Mr. Statistic is because of these categories, and then it all got taken away by Mr. Tom Brady. But Drew Brees had his time of holding the record. Now let's talk about Drew Brees' career. Drew Brees barely made the playoffs, but he made it to the Super Bowl one time, and he won the Super Bowl off that. But he should have been to the Super Bowl one more time again, folks, because back in 2019, I'm pretty sure it was, in the NFC Championship game, the Saints fans remember this, is the Saints versus Rams game. And in that game, there was a questionable call from the refs where it was clearly PI. And if you watch the highlights and the tape of it, it was clear. I'll show you a photo of it right here, ladies and gentlemen. But it was clear that that should have been called, and that would most likely set the Saints into the Super Bowl. Most likely would have. But if you really look closely into that game, the Saints kept kicking field goals after drive after drive after drive. They couldn't really convert TDs. So that was a big controversial there too, of like, it was not just of like the game came all the way down to that. Had Drew Brees scored a touchdown on one of those field goal drives, they would have definitely made it to the Super Bowl. But that stands out to me of Drew Brees in that game. But what was he known for again, folks? Mr. Statistic, like I mentioned before, he had great arm positions to get the same target every single time where he's thrown it. So that was pretty good. Great work ethic, great determination. He was a great leader, helped down Hurricane Katrina. But the interesting thing, folks, especially for the Saints fans, is he would not have been to the Saints had his career been over. His career almost was over because he suffered a significant injury that almost ended his career, like Peyton Manning when he left the Colts and went to the Denver Broncos. Drew Brees had the same thing when he went to the Chargers to the Saints. His career almost ended. No one thought that Drew Brees would be good again. But Drew Brees overcame that significant injury and played through it and became a legend for New Orleans. He became a legend for the Saints. But back to Drew Brees, very helpful in the community. Hurricane Katrina, again, that was one of the most devastating things that happened in New Orleans, and Drew Brees is right there Do you want to be part of that and help out the community there? He was the all-time passing yards leader at the time of his retirement. He has most career completions. And then to get off the field, he contributed millions of dollars through his Breeze Dream Foundation to support education, healthcare, and disaster recovery efforts in the New Orleans community and the community itself in the United States. He liked to help out there as his foundation, but really try to help out the New Orleans community. But Drew Brees, a phenomenon player, has to definitely be up here on this list. One of the great players, especially growing up as a kid. One of my favorite players to watch, ladies and gentlemen. Next player on the list, this guy played 10 seasons for the Saints, and that is Marquez Colston. Marquez Colston, he's a one-time Super Bowl champion, ladies and gentlemen, one with Drew Brees. He's in the Saints Hall of Fame. His stats, folks, he has 711 receptions, 9,759 receiving yards, 72 rushing TDs. Now, he's nicknamed Quiet Storm. Why is Colston nicknamed that? Well, that's because of his understated demeanor and his steady excellence. He's known for his consistency, excellent hands, had great precise routing of how you do his routing yards, like you compare today Justin Jefferson. He's able to make those clutch catches when you need him to be, especially in that Super Bowl. He was very clutch and in the playoffs a couple times for the Saints. He always made those contested catches, whether it's just going to be a one-on-one 50-50 ball in the end zone, and he pull that down and get it. He's the all-time leader in the Saints franchise history, ladies and gentlemen, in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving TDs. He had 6 1,000 receiving yard seasons. He reached out to double-digit touchdowns 3 times, and he was a loyal player too. He's very helpful off the field too. But that stands out to me about Colston is you look at Drew Brees, how he was Mr. Statistic. Well, he had to throw somebody in order for those statistics to happen, and that was Colston. Because Colston led in receiving yards, receiving TDs, and receptions. All-time leader in franchise history of those statistics, which is pretty amazing to see. So Colston has to be on this list for me, ladies and gentlemen. Has to be. Next on our list is Willie Roth. Played 9 seasons for the Saints. He's a 2-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler, a Saints Hall of Fame, and a Saints Ring of Honor. He's in the Hall of Fame, ladies and gentlemen. What is he known for? Well, he's known for his size, strength, and athleticism, and his quick on his feet. He played offensive line, ladies and gentlemen. And those are the things that you need in order to be a great offensive line and to be in the Hall of Fame as an offensive lineman, which allowed him to be very good against those great pass rushers in those techniques like I mentioned before, athleticism, size, and strength, able to power through those pass rushers, and he had great power. Great technique is what he was known for. He's very versatile, so he could play in multiple positions if you need to. He was a leader, and he was a cornerstone piece of why the Saints succeeded, and he helped out the Saints very much so in his playing day. So that stands out to me of Willie Roaf has to definitely be on this list here, ladies and gentlemen. Next on the list is a more recent player, and he's still playing today. 14 seasons so far the Saints. That's Cameron Jordan. Most NFL fans know who he is. The Saints fans, they especially know who he is, especially at today's age. But he's a one-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time second-team All-Pro, 8-time Pro Bowler, 1-time Bart Starr Award. I got to see it personally, as you saw in my last video. I got to see him real quick, so that was pretty fun. His stats, folks: 65 passes defended, 15 forced fumbles, 11 fumble recoveries, 121.5 sacks, 716 combined tackles, 3 interceptions, 160 tackles for loss, 233 QB hits. Now, his father played in the NFL, who was a 5-time Pro Bowler for the Minnesota Vikings as a tight end, but he got those genes, and Cameron Jordan played very well as today in the NFL. He has had so far a great career. Now, what stands out to me about Cameron Jordan, he's a very versatile guy. He can get up the face on the offensive line and the QB's face to sack him and put so much pressure on him. He was also good in stopping the run. That is also a big thing that stands out to me about him. Very durable, always fight through the injuries. He had great work ethic. He always come into practice every morning and just set the tone for everybody in the locker room. He'd be that guy. Always apply pressure on those QBs, like I mentioned before. He disrupted his offensive line and just created nightmares for quarterbacks to run out of the pocket. He's a great leader. He's very charismatic. He has great personality. I love to hear from him. Great leadership too, and he's inspired his captains to have this great work ethic, like I mentioned before. He sets the tone when he comes into the locker room and to get to the gym work ready. He sets the tone for other guys to go to him. He has great football IQ. And another thing that really sticks out about Cameron Jordan is very involved in the New Orleans community, and that's why I mentioned about the Bart Starr Award. He always help out going to schools to help out after school kids, whether it's giving them new clothes or he's going to food drives. Always tries to help out any way possible in his philanthropy, because that's what he's really known for, is his philanthropy, and he's very helpful in that. And that's what stands out to me. So I got to give praise to Cameron Jordan here. Has to definitely be on this list here, ladies and gentlemen. Has to be. Last player on the list here, ladies and gentlemen, this guy played 13 seasons for the Saints, and that is Ricky Jackson. Ricky Jackson, 5-time second-team All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler, 4-time forced fumbles leader, made the Saints Hall of Fame, made the Saints Ring of Honor, made the NFL Hall of Fame. His stats, folks: 7 interceptions, 38 forced fumbles, 27 fumble recoveries, 123 sacks, and over 1,100 combined tackles here, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's talk about his game, ladies and gentlemen. He was one of the most feared pass rushers in his era. He had great technique, strength, and speed. Again, those are the tools you need to be successful in the NFL to play in there. He always disrupted those offenses and tried to expose them so much that he just took control of the game. And that's why he made him one of the most feared pass rushers. He was a very good run stopper, dominant force against the run is really what he's known for is the run. He's always a consistent player, making plays in the backfield if you need to be. So if he's going for a pass play, he always defends us and swat the ball out of there. Very durable, play through the pain. He's the all-time sacks leader in the Saints franchise history. So that sticks out to me about him. Now, not many people really talk about Ricky Jackson today. I mean, the Saints fans, you guys will especially talk about him. But when you talk about like to a regular NFL fan, nobody's going to know who Ricky Jackson is. Well, Ricky Jackson was one of the guys who set the tone for pass rushers back in his playing day. Despite the stats, like he would definitely put up more numbers today in today's NFL game. He set the tone for pass rushers back in his play day. He was one of those guys who set the tone and took it to the next level to revolutionize the guys for like Cam Jordan to take after it and revolutionize the position. So Ricky Jackson has to get more praise here, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion. So gotta give praise here, ladies and gentlemen. And now we get to my ultimate Saints goat. To me, it has to be Drew Brees here, ladies and gentlemen. I just think you can't argue it either way. Now, Cam Jordan puts up more awards, there you can make an argument. But Drew Brees, I mean, he's got the achievements, he's got the statistics to prove it off of him. The only thing he always lacked was, and this is a team accomplishment, is the Super Bowls and to be in the playoffs more often. That stands out to me of only diminish of Drew Brees, but he definitely was the guy who brought the Saints back into NFL and helped them win the franchise, put it back on the map, is what I like to say here. So Drew Brees is my ultimate Saints goat here, ladies and gentlemen. He's got the statistics, he got the achievements, very helpful on and off the field. Very good on the field when you got to watch him play, but off the field he was very good in the community, and that's not to go against the other guys of what they achieved and what they did. But Drew Brees stands out to me the most here, ladies and gentlemen. So I had to give my award here to Drew Brees here. But that's all I got here, folks. Let me know what you think in the chat. Do you think I was right about Drew Brees? Do you think someone should be on this list? Do you think I should talk more about someone else? Who do you think got underrated? Who do you think is overrated in this list? Let me hear that. Or who do you think should be an honorable mention? Let me know. Leave in the chat, guys. We'd appreciate it. Make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so, guys. We'd appreciate it. But that's a wrap for this video, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next time on the GOAT Series here, ladies and gentlemen.